Human trafficking is defined as the act of recruiting, harboring, transporting, providing, or obtaining a person for compelled labor or commercial sex acts through the use of force, fraud, or coercion. The U.S. State Department estimates there are tens of millions of slaves in the world currently. While hard to believe, officials say human trafficking exists in your community today. Professor Luz Nagel teaches a course on human trafficking at Stetson University College of Law. She is also a highly regarded international voice and legal scholar in the fight against human trafficking and modern-day slavery.
Traffic victims are supposed to be helped. They are supposed to be rescued and put in a shelter. Under the law, we are supposed to have mechanisms in place that are going to help us help the victim so that the victim is not going to be re-victimized.
Part of this process to create a mechanism to fight human trafficking is to educate young lawyers who will represent victims as part of Stetson's commitment to social justice.
I decided to come to Stetson. I saw their international law program. I saw what the professors do in advocacy for international law and human rights, and I just thought that it was the perfect fit.
Stetson Law student Stan Abramanko took Professor Nagel's class and was stunned by his discovery.
As I began to read, looked into the news, began to read articles, I could see how these international businesses were taking advantage of people worldwide and how it either benefited or hurt the economy. Terrorist organizations were using the sale of human beings to fund themselves, and by doing that, they were funding the purchase of arms that were being sold from legitimate South African companies. I started to see how business in an everyday sense was affecting human beings in their livelihoods worldwide.
This is Amy, a Stetson Law student who agreed to appear anonymously. She experienced firsthand the terror and trauma of human trafficking.
I think advocating for human trafficking victims is important because this crime is really so pervasive in all of our communities that a lot of people may not be aware of. The positive actions we can take against the crime can resonate throughout communities and really make a difference.
Stetson Law alumna Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi has zero tolerance for human trafficking. She has sponsored legislation, created training sessions, and worked with numerous law enforcement agencies to step up efforts to combat human trafficking. Attorney General Bondi joined Stetson Law alumna Janae Iorato to sponsor an event at Stetson's Tampa Law Center to combat human trafficking. She volunteers much of her time for this cause.
I could sit here for hours and days telling you about different cases, but everyone has to get involved in this fight, especially lawyers. We're the ones who can give these survivors and victims a voice.
Through her hands-on externship experience, Karun Rivero donates her time to help human trafficking victims.
Currently, I'm working on a case, and there are multiple clients that they were trafficked by a man. He brought them over, promised them to make lots of money to help them and their families be able to have a better life, move on. And unfortunately now they're in this country afraid, scared, not knowing if they will be deported when they'll see their family, receiving death threats, receiving phone calls from their families, and their families are receiving death threats.
While human trafficking is a global problem, Stetson faculty and students are doing their part working to right this human injustice.
People who are able to take their gifts or their skills and utilize those in a way that creates positive change or, even just impacts one person's life for the better, that inspires me. That's something that I want to strive to do, that I do strive to do.
For more information about Stetson University College of Law and our social justice programs, please visit stetson.edu/law/advocacy.